So now we're talking about the 9 elements of what I call the 9 elements of the kingdom. Because keep in mind, Exodus chapter 24 is where God promised to give Moses the tablets, which were spoken of through Exodus chapter 24 all the way up to Exodus chapter. And two things I didn't include, and I'll come back to that, I hope I do, all the way up to Exodus chapter 31, when the builders were. So this is faith and action, because the builders were appointed in Exodus chapter 31. The two things that I didn't mention were the making of the oil and the incense. And I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to, maybe I'll talk about that in later, and because this comes later on anyway. But the making of the oil and the incense. And I want to summarize everything that I'm sharing with you, because I want to make this real. I don't want to make all this symbolic. When I learned most of this in School of Ministry, it was all symbolism. I want to show you how this relates to you today in getting back to the basics of ministering to the people, and the people not turning to materialism, turning to God. I personally believe people are turning to materialism, and because of that, we're recognizing suicides, we're recognizing real world stuff, because we're not seeking the face of God. I need things just like everyone else does, but right now, I just think that we need to turn our face to God, and that it has to be recognized in a real way. I know some financially successful people, but I personally think some of the financially successful people I know are unhappy. And I don't understand it, other than they're missing something. And anytime there's a hole, I think God can fill it. So, and at the same time, for my grandkids, who I do not want to grow up not having peace. And for even my kids, who are all now in their 30s and 40s. And then the guys and girls and the guys and ladies in Kenya who are in their 30s, who are coming into a place of power now. It is so important that you do not lose focus, because it's so easy to lose focus on the primary purpose of our existence, which is to usher in the kingdom of heaven, and that doesn't make sense to people. But once you understand some of the things I'm teaching here in the book of Exodus, beyond the symbolism to real world understanding, like for example, we're supposed if and again, this is not for everyone. But if we've taken on the responsibility of ministering to the people as being one of the children of Israel, in particular if you've taken on the position of being a high priest, but as the children of Israel, we have to die to ourselves and serve the people. That doesn't mean be broke. It means that we have to turn to the service industry. Serving people. Using this vernacular here today. You have to learn how to serve people. And I believe the kingdom of God teaches us how to serve people. As you know, when the children of God left Egypt, they left Egypt with great substance. We have to know how to get great substance out of Egypt, the world system. At that time, the world system represented Ra, Horus, and Set. S-E-T, Set. That was the god. Those were the gods of Egypt. Now again, don't get mad at me if you're into Ma'at. I'm not suggesting Ma'at was bad. What I'm suggesting is the lesson to be learned here in the separation between Egypt and Israel is that Israel were always servants in Egypt. They were always servants. But Israel had a particular purpose, which is to usher in the kingdom of God, which made Egypt prosperous. Ra did not. It's the kingdom of operating, which is so. In other words, we want to argue over gods when there's only one God. Which we need to get over all that. Whether you call him Ra, Set, Horus, there's so many names of he's the King of King and the Lord of Lord and the God of gods. There's one God over all the gods. God doesn't even say that there are no more gods. He just says he's the God of gods. He's the King of Kings. He's the Lord of Lords. The proof is in the miracle. If someone brings a system into your community and it works, you want to stick to that system of operating. That's called the kingdom of God. I haven't even gotten into the tablets of stone yet. But that is the practical side of living life, to serve other people. It brings wealth because we own wealth already. You don't have to strive for something you already have. The one thing, I'm not going to say the one thing, but I'm going to say you have to protect yourself from people who think that they're larger than you. And you have to protect yourself in thinking that they are larger than you. They are not larger than you. You are larger who serves and should get paid for it. And should get paid for it. There is no charity here. And I'm running out of time, so maybe I'll do Tablets of Stone 3 too. But the idea here is that you stop looking down on yourself as though you are so that you think servants shouldn't be taken care of. Servants are the drivers of economies, people groups. So when I'm gonna make a Tablets of Stone number 3. So what I'm going to explain in Tablets of Stone number 3 is what that looks like. With the 9 elements of the kingdom, and I can't go into the symbolism of all the 9 elements, but what I want to do is just prove to you that the Tablets of Stone were made up of the law, and the law, which is the Torah, and the commandments, which is the mitzvah, which is the wisdom of God, and it shows great love and respect for the kingdom of God. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible.